Okay, we have a short. We have a short for this.
Talk about some longer term plans for League after 2026. We're often asked if we're going to make League of Legends 2 someday. And the answer to that has been and remains no. We've always been committed to constantly improving and updating
League 2.
From new game modes and champion updates to balancing the game every other week and so on.
There are some things, though, that do make the most sense as part of a larger bundle of changes. And with that in mind, we've been working on some bigger updates to League.
Let me know.
Not quite ready to show you our work in progress. It's coming along well, but it's just not ready for a first look yet. We want to tell you about some of those things that, at this point, the majority of the League team are now working on.
So, for starters, we're making a brand new around-game client that's fully integrated with the in-game experience, rather than being a separate application like today.
Yeah, rather than being a separate... Dude, big dub, big dub. And this is... I've talked to many Rioters, and every time we would chat, this would basically be the first point, and at some point, they eventually stopped talking about it. They said, like, except for the client, what else would you like to see in game, you know? Like, if we don't talk about a client, what would you like for us to do, and what would be the changes? They understood it's like a given. That's like, has to be done, and they're doing it, man. And I said they're doing it. I said they're doing, people didn't believe me. The new client is coming. It's going to be incredible. Let's see what else.
We're also revamping Summoner's Rift with entirely new visuals and a bit of new gameplay.
Plus
new visuals. I can't wait for any sort of gameplay change. That's going to be incredible. But also, like, the visual changes. When I watched, what was it, trailer for VelKoz in Wild Rift, it looks so smooth. It looks so clean. Like, League of Legends definitely a little bit lagging behind in terms of, like, that smoothness, and they can do some really cool stuff. And I think my guess is, again, based on what I understood from talking to them, based on what I can ascertain from what they're doing and how they're like, how they shifted their idea of updating the game in the recent year or so, I feel like everything is being done to maximize new players' retention, to like create a bigger bucket to catch more new players, and then have it like capture them immediately, have a lot of glue in that bucket, you know? This is what to capture them. So I think all the changes are in that line. So my prediction is what they're gonna do with the game, with the smoothness and the graphics and the new Summoner's Rift. I think they're gonna make it more. Well, I don't know. I'm not sure if I would like that, but they will make it closer to the Wild Rift. I think that will be the angle. They want to make it palatable for newer players, new audiences, you know, updated for modern audiences. So yeah, I just hope it's not like too cartoony, too unserious, too zoomer friendly, too mobile friendly. Like I get it's like a potentially necessary evil, even if I don't like it, you know. I just hope it's not like too much. It doesn't like take away too much of the League identity, you know. But we'll see. Again, it's way too early to speculate on how the like visual changes are going to look, and I think that the client is going to be great. I remember distinctly for the client, I had this one conversation with Drew Levin on Twitter, and we were chatting about the client. So I sent it, like, I told him like how old client just contains so much very cool information where you would just open it up and you would see, like, you would track all of your scores and stats. When you open up the stat line, it would tell you, like, how many quadra kills you had, how many penta kills you had. So every year, when I would be playing League of Legends back in the day, I would always track, like, I want to have 1 penta kill this year, you know? And then you have, like, 1. It looks very cool. So it's not a 0 in the stats. So he asked me, like, about the whole... I don't think the Drew was even part of the crew at that time. So I sent him, like, this picture. I really like this. The old client was very, very cool. It was very, very smooth, very cool. Ranked teams was such a goated thing. I mean, they're not going to bring that shit back. But what I would really like to see is that the new client to be like very close to the old one, you know, and that they can put some prizes, rewards. That's something I also mentioned for like a top people. Ranked teams was definitely incredible. The rune page was awesome. I really fucking liked it, man. I don't know. I like the old... I really like the old client. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of the old client. Hang on a sec. Let's finish this.
And how you make some pre-game choices.
And we're overhauling the new player experience so that once we're done, it should be the best time ever to get your friends into League.
There is a bit more to this update than we've mentioned here. And we'll have more to share sometime later this year between MSI and Worlds. Until then, We'll still, of course, have regular dev updates on everything else going on.
Between
Your love
MSI and
dedication to League
Worlds.
is what drives us to make this game better. Your voices and input are vital to League and will help shape where we go next. So as always, thank you so much for your time, your support, and just for everything. Good luck, have fun, and we'll see you on the Rift.
Nah, so brilliant. You really gotta appreciate how consistent and in touch with the community Riot has been in the last year or so. They're constantly been adding like new patches, new changes. They're constantly talking to us, and it's just awesome. It's just awesome to be part of this like continuous two-way street conversation. Enunciated voices. Later this year, wait, is he talking like later between the Worlds and MSI? Is that like this year or like the 2026? What was he referring to there? Later this year between MSI and Worlds. Is he referring that to like... I'm pretty sure that's 2026. Okay, my prediction for that's going to be summer 2026. Announcing something big. So, client is the biggest thing ever. Client is the biggest news ever. So, what could be bigger than the client that they're actually announcing? The revamp of the full-on client, making it an integrated thing. I think... potentially, they're going to be announcing voice chat, integrated voice chat, in the summer of 2026. They still don't have the client images to show us that they're like ready for viewing, so they're going to have that probably like like in the early next year. We're going to have some snippets of how the client's going to look like, probably, and then in the summer we might get an announcement of the voice chat and how that would look like. I think that might happen. I think that's a 2026 thing that's going to happen. It's probably like next on the docket, right? So 2026, you get the voice chat and the new client. And like all these things that I keep telling people are like, nah, you're delusional, it's never going to happen. And yet keep happening every single time to keep happening. So just follow along. And then I think 2027, because 2026, I think they're making the game a little bit like too crazy, you know, and they leaned into it. A lot of people are memeing that League of Legends 2, you know, League is just so accelerating, it's exacerbating its playstyle, everything is going absolutely crazy. The new season is going to be ridiculously fast. It's going to be like light speed fast how it's going to be happening. Baron is back to 20 minutes. The games are going to be like exploding very, very quickly. There's no Atakan, there's no slowing down. So yeah, League of Legends is going absolutely crazy now. So this is something that they were afraid of doing back in the day. It was a continuous balancing act. Like, for example, Season 5 was like the peak tactical season. And T1 just absolutely swept and completely won. And Season 5 is kind of where League of Legends got like tactically solved. But the game was really, really slow. So they decided to make it a bit more chaotic, but they didn't want to make it too chaotic, because the more chaotic they made it, that's why people will tell you, like, Golden Age Season 5, you know, like, older players. And they will tell you that, like, they kind of stopped playing League when it started speeding up to, like, Season 7, Season 8, right? They didn't really like it after. And they were afraid. It was a balancing act of how to make it more interesting and faster, but also not too fast that you alienate your previous audience, because Riot Games doesn't have a big enough bucket of catching the new people, which means that they have to hold on to the older people, right? Now they're expanding the bucket, catching more people with the potentially new tutorial, making everything more user-friendly, WSD and all of these tools. They want to make new people come into the league. They want to make them stick. But they're not afraid as much now to lose the older audience, precisely because they're getting the new audience to peek in. That's why they're moving League of Legends in this faster realm. And I think it's going to keep going and even accelerating, going into this like fast realm. League of Legends is going to be real, really fast. And then eventually, maybe like 2027, they're going to release like a classic version, which is going to be a slower version of League of Legends, where they will be able to capture the attention of the older players who will want to come back on the League of Legends, check that one out, and then maybe continue playing the real league and stuff like that. So these are all very, very cool ideas, interesting stuff. Let's see, this one, right? So we're planning to share a video early January as part of the bigger season start moment, but since some early speculation making rounds, we felt we should share it earlier. The video is, oh, so that's why they, the video, they say later this year, because they were recording it with the intentions of releasing in January. This video is one section from the upcoming dev update after the holiday break, covers some of our plans for the league long term, including brand new around game client that's fully integrated with the in-game experience. Okay, this is the age-old debate where we talked about, like, why is League of Legends two separate things, and it's gonna, well, like, one of the minor things it's gonna fix a lot of the bugs, I think, where you queue up and like something changes, like your room page is not saved or something like that. But other than that, the more importantly, it's going to be a cleaner, hopefully more optimized client, which will offer integrated voice chat at some point. I know some people are against voice chat, and it's understandable. Again, I can't really speak for those people, but that's the reality. I think they want to get the voice chat. It's the next step for them, and it has more pros than cons for sure. A full visual overhaul of Summoner Rift that's super aimed at the new players, because older players didn't care. They can play in a fucking rusty old basement. They don't care, you know. They can play in the old Rift. They're just addicted. Gameplay changes tied to that usual visual update, so that's cool. We're gonna have something new and unique. Some changes to runes and pre-game systems. Runes and pre-game systems. I'm not sure what this is referring to. Are they going to yoink another one of my ideas? Are they going to speed up even more the loading and implement like pre-bans and faster queues? Are they actually going to steal one of my ideas again? And improve new player experience. I think this is referring to the tutorial and stuff. This work is part of our efforts to refocus on what we believe matters most to you. Over the past year, we hope you've been feeling this in the change we're making. For sure, definitely. Like, incredibly consistent company. They're doing so well recently. You can hate it or love the game. For me, it's not even working out. I think VelKoz is getting worse and worse. And like, the champ sucks, but you gotta admit that the changes they're doing are really, really good. They're in tune. They got the pulse of the community. Next phase built on the momentum and lays the groundwork for the league's next era. New client, new day, you know. We'll share some more details in the next year, sometime between Ever Sign the Worlds, including a program event in 2027, we're aiming to have these updates land. Yeah, like, the only reason why you would want this to be that deep is because you're working on such bigger systems. And I think that the new client will solve the idea of the pre-bans and the pre-lobby, which is going to make things more optimized. It's going to solve the thing of the integrated voice chat. It's going to solve a lot of the different bugs between communication of the client and the gameplay. And it's going to be a fresh new client. They can make the new client faster than 2027. The fact that it's taken around 2 years leads me to, like, it practically confirms that they're building in the systems to hold the voice chat. Because I know for a fact that the current League client is not designed to have mass adoption of voice chat. You can have voice chat in like a duo or a pre-made, but it's not integrated. I will share more details. Your passion, feedback, and memes continue to shape League, and we appreciate you being on the journey. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. There's another one here. We're upgrading the core League gameplay engine and getting the around game client into it as well. Right now, League has a separate tech stack for the client versus the in-game experience. At least the challenge is connecting the two. See, that's what we talked about. And doing things like champion models in the around game experience. The around game client tech is also where we had a lot of challenges over the years. We're moving everything into one shared engine using the in-game tech result. I think this also produces numerous problems for systems that lean on League of Legends. Like if you lean on League of Legends much like TFT, you might actually experience problems because of it for the TFT devs. And God, I only have one wish here as well. It's something that I really said to Brian Stearns when I was in Riot HQ, and I said, how do you feel about custom maps? How do you feel about custom? The fact that they're doing all of this revamping and they're going to make the systems better and it's going to be easier for the TFT developers to actually work on the TFT, how do they feel about allowing community to be creative and have some sort of map editor so they can actually create like tower defense games and whatnot, you know, like the Pudge Wars pull each other. You know, you can do some crazy stuff, some crazy creative stuff. And now that's like a little bit more in the visual thinking side that they're integrating into the client. because they're making it a whole one experience. If they do that, that's just the absolute biggest W they can possibly do. But the voice chat is, I don't want to say guaranteed, but like it's coming. I made a prediction a while ago, and it should come. So yeah, there you go. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. What do you guys think about this? What do you think about the changes? What do you want from the new League client?